guys, welcome back to my part of the internet. I am Keeyaria, and today we are going to talk about your identity versus your story. And I hope this all makes sense. As I said before, I feel like whenever I come up with video ideas, it makes sense on paper, but when I talk about it, it sometimes doesn't make sense. But I think you guys will understand once I get into it. So let's just go ahead and get into the video. Okay. So the way this video kind of came about is from one of my classes, developmental psychology. If you didn't know, I major in psychology. And in this class, obviously, we talk about the development of humans. And one of the things that we talked about was identity. And all of the definitions I'm kind of getting for our identity came from my book. So the definition of identity, in my own words, it's the puzzle pieces that make up you. The different puzzle pieces could be career, politics, religion, relationship, achievement, intellectual, cultural, interest, personality, physical. Then the list goes on. So let's go ahead and get into story. And I say story / testimony, but story. Okay. So your story is a person's journey through life to get to where they are. And as you know, a testimony is a person's journey to become a Christian. And I talked more about your testimony in my last video, so I definitely would go watch that if you still have questions about that. So how does your identity and your story come together? Your testimony / story helps you find the correct puzzle pieces to form your identity. So, for example, let's talk about interest, right? Part of my story is finding what type of music I like. So let's talk about middle school Keeyaria. I tried to listen to rock music. It didn't really fit. Or, I don't know, like heavy metal music. That didn't really fit. Country music. I actually really liked country music in middle school, oddly enough. And old school R&B, gospel music, those I really liked. So now that's part of my puzzle piece when it comes to my identity and interest in music. It's gospel, R&B, tiny bit of country if it sneaks in. So that's kind of how that all plays out. Flip my page. But nowadays I see people's story and identity clashing or coming together when I feel like it really shouldn't. And I mostly want to talk about it in the context of mental health. So I'm going to say right now, if this is a topic that you can't listen to or makes you really feel icky or weird, highly suggest you not to listen to this. They're always making noise. So if you hear anything, because I hear right now, they're always making noise. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. But yeah, if this is a topic that you really just cannot listen to, I promise you it's okay. There's a lot of other videos that you can watch on my channel. So getting back to what I was saying, I definitely feel like this is something that I am seeing more than ever now. It's almost like mental health, like anxiety or depression, is almost like a trend, which is so sad. I hear it in class, like around campus, on social media, going into the store. Just yesterday, this is something I'm seeing all the time, and it's really sad, almost like it's a trend now. It's like, if I have anxiety now, I'm socially accepted. And of course, I could be, exaggerating a little bit, but I see it too often, and it's really, really sad. I really noticed this last year. Well, late last year, earlier this year, whenever I was going through what I was going through. And I guess I can give you a little bit of a background just so you can understand where I'm coming from a little bit. So last semester, well, really last year, I was going through a lot of anxiety to the point where my therapist and I were talking about getting on meds. And I was for it. I wanted to do anything that would help me get better. But it was getting to the point where I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to stay in bed. I didn't want to go anywhere. I would lose sleep. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I woke my sister up at 3 o'clock in the morning because I just literally could not sleep. It was horrible. It was so horrible. And so being in that situation, and then also hearing people glamorize having anxiety, knowing what I was going through, kind of stung a little bit. Like, this isn't fun. I don't want to be going through this. I'm not blasting this from the rooftop, and I doubt half the people that I was around at the time even knew what was going on, unless, like, they're really in my personal life. But I didn't, flash it for everyone to see. And that's what I'm kind of puzzled about. It's almost like when we introduce ourselves, I should be like, "Hi, I'm Keeyaria Smith. I major in psychology and I have anxiety." What? No, that doesn't make sense to me. That does not make sense to me. And I feel like that is a clear example of turning your story into your identity. Yes, going through that got me to where I am today. 100%. But am I going to make that a part of my identity? Absolutely not. When someone's asking me who I am, how am I, I'm not going to include anxiety in there. I'm not going to do that. And I just think that's where we need to adjust a little bit. Also, another thing, I could talk from personal experience with this one, is our relationships. Now, I mean, I'm not married. I'm not in a relationship right now, but I have been in a relationship before. And in that relationship, I made it my identity. I honestly was nothing without it. I felt like being in that relationship honestly completed me, which now, being older and a little bit wiser, I know that a relationship could not complete me at all. But in that sense, it did. I can go on and on about it, but I essentially made it my identity. And it did not only affect me personally, but it affected my family. And like I said before, I'm single. I'm not in a relationship right now. But in the future, whenever that does happen, I'm not going to let that be my identity, okay? It's just not. If it happens, or whenever it does happen, I'm going to be really, really excited. But to remember that I have a life outside of it, right? Like, what did I do before I even got in that relationship, right? We need to remember that. And I need to remember that, right? Like, whenever that time does happen, I need to remember that I had a life before him. And if it doesn't work out, I have a life after him. And it's okay. Going back to, using mental health as your identity, I also want to put out there that I'm not saying that we should not have awareness. I definitely think that we need to have mental health awareness because it's helpful. It's always helpful. We need to check our heart whenever we're posting these pictures or these videos. We need to check and see, am I posting this to help others? Or am I posting this to get a reaction? We need to check our heart in everything that we do. And I'm talking about that next video, which I feel like I always lead into the next video. Whenever I'm filming a previous one, videos go in a sequence and it all makes sense. And I don't ever do it on purpose. But definitely come back for the next one talking about our heart. But always ask those type of questions in anything that you do. And I think you'll be better off that way. So I want to end off in this paper, this note. A couple of weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, whenever I was planning for this video and, praying about it and, what should I say, I got this. and it was in a span of 2 days. And I'm not gonna lie, every time I read this, I get chills because this could not be more on point. So I'm gonna read this and then we'll be done. All right, here we go. We do not need to claim anxiety, depression, single, in a relationship as a part of our identity. That is part of my story, but not my identity. When I hear people claiming that as their identity, I think about people in the Bible. The woman with the issue of blood, for example, did not have a name to my knowledge. Her name was tied to her identity. What did people identify her as? The woman who was unclean, the woman with the issue of blood. So do you know what you are saying when you are claiming these things as your identity? You don't go by your name like Keeyaria. Oh no, you go by man with the issue of depression, the woman with the issue of anxiety. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want to be identified by what I have been through. I want to be identified by who brought me through. Jesus identifies me as his daughter, strong, fearless, and the list goes on. That's where I find and get my identity from, not my issues. There's a big difference. But I have suffered from chronic depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts. Do you think I want others to know me as the woman with the issue of depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts? No, I want to be known as the woman with integrity, peace, joy, strength, daughter of God. I don't want to be defined by that. We don't think about it when we do it, but a lot of us do. We have to stop. Appreciate where you come from. It's in the past because you are past it now. It's called the past for a reason. Don't be like Lot's wife that turned into salt all because she would not leave the past in the past. Keeyaria, is that really in the Bible? Yes, it is. Who needs reality TV when all the drama is in the Bible? I just had to leave that in there because I thought that was hilarious. But it's true. Like, look, you want murder? It's in there. You want gossip? It's in there. Like, everything's in the Bible. I feel like that's a really good way to end what I talked about in this video. I just want to highlight one of the things that I talked about. The past is in the past. And it's a part of your journey. And it made you who you are today. So, of course, appreciate that. Of course, be thankful, for good or bad. Good things help us improve and bad things also help us improve. But if you find yourself in these situations, definitely ask for help. Don't be scared to go to a therapist or to talk to your friend. Talk to someone that you trust. And just know that you will get through it. You'll get through it. And just don't claim that as your identity, okay? You may be going through, a season of anxiety. Okay, but guess what? You're going to get through that. Regardless if it's you just going to therapy, if it's you maybe going to get, on medication, it's perfectly fine. But just know it's not going to last forever. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely look down below in the description box. I'll always leave articles or different Bible verses for you guys to read that goes along with the videos. And I find that they're really helpful. So I hope that you guys actually do go look at it so you can gain a little bit more from my videos. Also, let me know what you guys want to see. I'm really kind of going week by week when it comes to these videos, but ultimately this is for y'all. And whatever it is, to my best of my ability, I will come out and answer your videos request or your topic request, whatever it is. I'm open to recommendations. That should not have been that hard to say. I'm open to your recommendations. But okay, you guys, I hope you have a good rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you're watching this, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.